December 7th, 1941.
A date which will live in infamy.
Changed history.
The United States of America was suddenly and deliberately attacked.
I realized that my family was just simply in the mix or in the flow of history.
America struck back.
2 months after Pearl Harbor, Japanese Americans forced into internment camps.
All Japanese were required to move from critical areas such as these.
There were barbed wire fences and guards with guns on the perimeter, and they were basically concentration camps.
It was not a cotton candy time.
Boston Inada was only 4 years old at the time.
I remember things like, what happened to my dog, you see, and this food is terrible.
Inada's family was first shipped to the Fresno County Fairgrounds, then to a camp in Jerome, Arkansas, and finally to Amase Camp in the Colorado desert.
One of my friends in the barrack was a blonde girl. You know, she looked kind of like you, actually, and I didn't pay it much mind, but then I asked around when I grew up, and they said, oh, yeah, her mother was a Caucasian, but was married to a Japanese fellow.
Inada doesn't say much about the freezing winters, unbearably hot summers, or guards with guns. He remembers a community that band together.
We tried to have our own little Christmases, for instance, you know, so parents would scrimp and make toys or things for kids.
Even when World War II ended, the battle for prisoners like Inada was far from over.
We were essentially homeless.
Inada's father lost his dental practice after Pearl Harbor. He had to work in the fields until he had enough money to start it back up.
You guys were American citizens. Do you feel like you ever got that apology?
Yeah, I think so. President Reagan issued an apology, and so did President Gerald Ford.
Inada doesn't question what the United States did or didn't do. Instead, he took his past and turned it into a future.
One stormy night, when no doctors would come out, some of the men in camp had given first aid to a Negro woman.
In 1991, Inada was named Oregon State Poet of the Year. He's also an emeritus professor of writing at their Southern Oregon University.
I would try to turn it to them also and say things like, well, that was just me in World War II. What was your family doing in World War II? And they'd say, well, we don't know.
Inada's positive attitude is an enduring sign of his loyalty, even though he has nothing left to prove. Covering your news in Medford, Katie Connor, News 10.